Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week, we take a look at food and drink trends in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Anna Butler, the Dallas Morning News' food editor. We're coming off of Memorial Day weekend, which means summer has officially begun. So what's better to talk about than perfect burgers and grilling? That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I am joined by our food writers, Sarah Blaskovich and Imelda Garcia. Sarah, you wrote a story on 5 classic burgers in DFW, and is it safe to say that this was controversial to people?
It was, and that was interesting to me because this list was not hard for me to put together. There seemed like right answers. And then I learned via email that that was not true. But the name is Favorite Classic Burger Joints in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I love a story about a historical place. And there are 5 places that seem to kind of fit right in as classic burger joints. So do you guys want to hear the 5 real quick?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, with the qualifier also being this isn't us saying these are the best burgers ever of all time, so much as these are classic Dallas-Fort Worth burgers that are quintessential to some of the neighborhoods that they're from.
Yes, exactly that. So we did them in alphabetical order. So first is Boots Burgers in Rockwall, and it's been there since probably 1968. The owner is known for saying, as we get older, it's harder to remember. And so they think it's about that year, and that's what they painted on the sign. But the last time I ate there, they were very busy. There was no place to sit, and so I ate this burger from the front seat of the car. That's kind of the vibe at Boots. Second place, Burger House. We have 3 of them in Addison, East Dallas, and University Park, with the original on Hillcrest in University Park. It opened there in 1951. Very little has changed about that location since then. And it was only last week that I sat on those spinny chairs in the tiny little kitchen and ate my burger, basically in front of the cooks as they watch you. Number 3, Darriette in East Dallas. East Dallas folks love to love this place, and I am one of them. Known for their ice cold root beers served in those, frozen glasses, and greasy burgers, tater tots. It is a place that was open before Bishop Lynch High School even came along, which is across the street. Number 4, Keller's Hamburgers in Dallas. We have 3 Kellers, with probably the most famous one being the drive-in on Northwest Highway. This restaurant almost single-handedly saved my family during the pandemic when we were trying to get out of the house safely and eat something delicious. And I know a lot of people who wrote in appreciated that we picked Keller's. It's been around since 1950. And number 5 on the list, and only because of alphabetical order, is Kincaid's in Fort Worth. It is one of the oldest restaurants in North Texas, period, and certainly one of our oldest burger joints.
I think I have a lot of homework because I have been only in 2 of those places, but now for the summer, I'm going to be on all 5 of them.
Oh, I would love to hear what you think, Imelda. These places, serve a not fancy old school burger, and there is definitely a place in our flashy city where you can spend a lot and have to make a reservation. You don't have to do any of that at any of these 5 spots.
So this seems like a pretty good list for me. What kind of feedback did you get?
Well, some people liked the list, and I'm going to choose to take that win because anybody can email us and say unkind things as well, and that sometimes happens. There was one man who sent me an email that said, quote, "You're kidding yourself with saying that all these other places serve better burgers." He writes with no punctuation at all, so it was a little bit hard to get through this email. And he said, quote, "Come on, really come on. I just can't believe you even that's on your list," unquote. And then he gives a place that I should try called Hooker's Grill. And then he spells it Hookers Grill, which is exactly how I would have spelled that. But thanks.
That's how you'd spell hooker? It's in the Fort Worth Stockyards. I will say that people do like it.
Yeah.
But you did get another email that was a little bit kinder, and I'll read that one. Great article, but if you mentioned Kincaid's as one of the top 5, I have to ask if you've ever been to Gusto's on Magnolia. I'm going with Gusto's because we're in Texas, but maybe it's Gusto's. It's far better, and even though I'm a funky town girl born and raised, the best joints that used to be here, like Under the Tower or Cypress, have now closed. Gusto's is the best I've had in a long time. She invited Sarah to try it, and will you?
Absolutely. I want everybody to know that if you email me and tell me to eat someplace, I really usually do it. I also want NADC Burger to enter the chat here if we're spending a moment on Fort Worth. Now, Gusto's and NADC are not historic. They're not really classic, but while we're on the topic of good burgers and while people were debating whether my list was a good one, NADC has a smash burger that you can find inside a comedy club in downtown Fort Worth. And we've talked about it on this podcast. I didn't put it on my list of 5 classic burger joints because it isn't classic. It's only been open a couple of months. Guys, speaking of classic, what are things each of you think need to go on a classic hamburger? I'll start by saying it's American cheese or it's no cheese at all. I think that's the perfect cheese for a cheeseburger. But where do we stand on lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, condiments like mayo, mustard, burger sauce?
I really just like a cheeseburger with mayonnaise only. It's a mouthfeel thing, which is a really gross term. But I also, though, think when I'm thinking of a classic burger, typically I want to taste the meat. Like there are the fun, funky places like a Rodeo Goat, and that's where I care a little bit more about the toppings. Haystack right now has a fig and goat cheeseburger that's absolutely delicious, and I really like that one. But anywhere from your Keller's to your Burger House to even the Hillstone Burger, that's meat that I want to taste.
Yeah, good point.
For me, I love Mexican hamburgers. Do you know what is a Mexican hamburger?
Ooh, tell us.
So this is a bun, right? With the meat and everything. But you add ham, cheese, of course, bacon, and some jalapenos, but the way that are like roasted jalapenos, and sometimes even sausage on it. It's like a bomb.
That's 4 meats.
Yeah, correct.
That's a club sandwich.
Basically,
Yeah,
right?
we have the meats.
Yeah, you have to try it.
I have a question. Is there a specific kind of cheese?
No, we usually use American cheese.
Do we have to come over to your house to eat this, or can we actually like find these in Dallas, Fort Worth?
You can, and I make an amazing Mexican burger, of course. But you can go almost any Mexican place. They will sell Mexican burgers. Mostly those that sells like tortas, they will have the Mexican hamburgers for sure.
Well, I love this, and I really do love to politely argue about who has a great burger in Dallas, Fort Worth. So if anybody out there can keep it civil, please email me your favorites at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. I promise I'll respond and maybe even try some of those.
And we encourage everyone listening to read our classic burgers list. So find it at dallasnews.com/food under the headline 5 favorite classic burgers in Dallas, Fort Worth. So summer is synonymous with grilling for many of us, but it's Texas, so a lot of us just grill year round. I'm talking about you, Sarah.
That's me.
But it never hurts to get some extra grilling tips. On the line right now, we have one of Eatsea's executive sous chefs, Mike, and he is going to give us some grilling tips.
Ultimate 101 tip, you want to make sure you start with a clean, fresh, preheated grill. Make sure your meat reaches room temperature before you want to cook it. You want to use a high sear to get those classic crosshatch grill marks. Try to resist the urge to continue flipping it back and forth multiple times. You can brush a little oil on and some seasoning.
No, this sounds perfect. And especially the tip about not moving what you're grilling too much is huge, especially if you want those quintessential grill marks.
Right.
Yeah, that's me. I do that a lot.
People tend to like to play around a little bit and flip it around and make all the flames splash up and everything, but it's best just to let it go, and then when it's ready, flip it once.
Do you recommend using a timer for something like that to keep those anxious people at bay?
If it's something you're not used to doing and you've got a recipe that tells you cook it for a certain minutes on this side and then flip it, timer would help that out.
Mike, how about adding spices or rubs? What's your spice mix? Something that works for everything.
I'm a salt, pepper, garlic person.
Yeah, okay.
The regular granulated garlic. I'm not a big marinade fan. I'm more of a dry rub. I like a smoked paprika. With your ribs and stuff, you can always add a little bit of brown sugar in there to get a little bit of sweetness to it. Pretty simple, but at the same time, very flavorful.
Sounds like a really great way to do that. Is there anything that you're particularly excited about grilling this summer yourself?
I like the hamburgers, the hot dogs. We like to do a smoked tri-tip. Grilling's a good time to be around with family and friends and good food and some good beer.
Chef, do you have any advice for those that love grilled chicken? I always burn it.
I get that chicken's kind of rough to cook sometimes, especially on a grill. You got to make sure you get it cooked all the way through. Get good grill marks on it, and then you can always move it to a part of your grill that's maybe not quite so hot. shut your lid down and let it cook that way, as opposed to keeping it over your high flame. Pretty easy to burn it that way.
And Chef, if you had to pick a single vegetable that you think is best on the grill in the summertime, what's that one thing?
I like a portobello mushroom.
Okay.
Just salt, pepper, a little bit of oil, a little bit of garlic. Cook it off like a steak. You can get the good grill marks on it, flip it over, push it to a little area of the grill that's not quite as hot, and just let it finish steaming up there. Delicious.
Chef, we Hispanics have an habit of cleaning the grill with an onion. Is that enough? How do you clean the grill?
A grill brush is usually a pretty good way to get it.
I'd never heard the onion before, Imelda. I've always been of the crank it up until it gets as hot as it'll get school. But Chef, thank you so much for making the time.
Onion one.
No, well, thank you so much for making the time. This has been so much fun to pick your brain, and we're really excited to try all of these tips, especially as summer gets started. Thank you so much.
Bye, Chef.
Thank you very much. And you
Thank
guys
you,
have
Chef.
a great day and enjoy your summer grilling.
And we are going to take a short break. Up next, we have something a little bit silly and a whole lot of funny to me that involves cooking.
Okay.
Oh,
That's all coming up right after this.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you. Whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable, no place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
Welcome back. In just a minute, we're going to be taking on some recipe mishaps. But first, we would love it if you would help spread the word about our podcast. If you like it, please tell your friends or anyone you think would appreciate all the important information we share each week. It would mean the world to us. So this felt right to do in honor of our Easy Summer Recipe series that starts in June on the Eat Drink DFW podcast. I stumbled across a post on Instagram, basically where people are asking absurd questions in recipe comments. This post comes to us from @quirkyandrelatable69.
okay.
Okay.
But I did research all of these to actually verify if they were real. And they are actually, these exist on websites. So I'm going to ask y'all to read off some of these because they just make me giggle.
Okay, I'll go first. This was posted to a Betty Crocker recipe for carrot cake. The commenter says, carrots have way too much sugar, so I replaced them with shredded kale. Oh, no.
Okay. Okay.
Cake turned out rather nasty, so 2 stars. Unsure
guess.
what went wrong, but it's too dry also.
Oh, God. No.
Oh, and then Betty Crocker responded? Oh, my gosh. Okay.
I mean, not herself.
Yeah, not Miss Betty, but Betty, the group said,
Corporate Betty.
we definitely recommend preparing this recipe as written, as carrots provide much needed texture and moisture. Betty's people chose not to say, hey, not very smart person who thinks kale and carrots are the same. That was really nice of her.
So this one was on the blog Sally's Baking Addiction. So the commenter wrote, very good icing. I just didn't realize that I couldn't substitute the heavy cream for mayonnaise.
Oh, no.
And I was just devastated when I tried it.
Yeah.
Maybe mention that next time. But other than that, it was delicious.
Oh, God.
Maybe
no.
mention that next time.
The context for this is that it was for vanilla buttercream.
No, what? No.
She tried to put mayo in vanilla buttercream.
Devastated.
She's devastated.
but still delicious.
Okay. Oh, God, no. No. This is from a blog from Jessica Holmes. It says, hi, Jessica, just curious. Could I change the coconut for shredded cheddar cheese?
Oh, no.
Will it work flavor-wise? And do I need to change the composition of the other ingredients? Thanks a lot. Oh, my God. Oh, well, at least she said thanks. The response was, hi, person's name. No, I don't recommend using cheese in this brownie recipe. What? No. No, God,
Can you
no.
picture the way that looks? There's like brown colored brownies with orange stripes in it from your cheddar cheese.
When you tear apart your brownies, like, whoa, no.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I think cheese goes in pretty much everything, but I learned today, I was today years old when I learned that I don't want it in brownies.
I will say I do have the fudge recipe that has Velveeta in it, but that's
No.
for a
What?
different
No,
day. It's called hillbilly fudge. It's a real thing.
What?
No, you have to bring us some.
One
Please.
day. It's not fudge season.
Soon.
I don't want any of that.
Oh, yeah, I want. And you know what? I think Anna and I will like them because we have not a sweet tooth, right?
It's actually a natural coagulant, but we're talking about Velveeta, not real cheddar when I'm saying that.
I know this wasn't a Betty Crocker recipe, but I do think Betty herself would be absolutely mortified.
Yeah.
Man, the internet is such an incredible place.
Yeah, guacala.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. And get ready, coming up in June, we will be hearing from you, plus some friends and family, about favorite easy summer recipes. So get ready to be inspired. And we don't want you to miss an episode, so make sure you're following Eat Drink DFW wherever you find podcasts. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.